All right. So we're just going to wait a few seconds. We're about to go in it, and let's do it now. Dynamite. All right, cool. So it is Friday. It's 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's all good. Those of you following me along today, I appreciate it. What I'm going to do today is, and this is the last live stream for the week, I'm just going to do a quick copy and paste, not copy and paste, I should say like cutting and pasting of a voice over, or I would say a vlog, and I'm going to cut and paste the voice in the timeline right in front of you guys. So that way you guys can see what I use and how I usually cut it. And this is like to hide the oohs, the ahs, and you know, there's many different takes, but this one is like, we're going to put them all together no matter how many takes I do, because as we're filming live, I kind of just let it go. But then I just start, you know, thinking of how I'm going to cut it in post. And here we are. So let's get right to it. We're going to get right to it. All right, cool. So we're going to start right here. So it basically reads out like this.
In today's vlog, I'm showing you a regular day working from home as a full-time videographer and editor.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
I got a few tasks to knock out.
Okay, so right there's a little bit of space. So we have to go from
I'm videographer and editor. Videographer and editor.
Geez, you can hear the mic as I do that. All right, so cool. So we're going to end it right here.
Full-time videographer and editor.
Cut it right there. And am I looking at the camera? Sometimes you got to look at the camera a little bit longer. All good. So now we just press the cut in these two. And that's because I use it to mask. I don't know if you guys see this little speaker on the side. I'm going to actually shut this off and just take a look at that little circle. You guys see that? I just use it to mask whatever. Anyways, we're going to go right there. And then what we're going to do is get close.
I got a few tasks.
We're going to start it from...
I got a few tasks to knock out.
So we're going to start it from right there. Don't mind my face. We're going to press B on the keyboard. Well, before we even do that, we're going to highlight all these, press B on the keyboard, and then bring it up to the... Now, if you noticed, I put the playhead right here, exactly where I want to cut it. So you could always... What most people do is like cut again, and then right here on where the playhead is, and you can cut it right there, delete it, and then like ripple, bring it forward. That's what we're going to do with the shortcut. So most people will cut right here, select, they will do this right here. Cut is already automatically cut. Highlight, and then delete, and then highlight the rest of this, and then bring it over, right? But we're not going to do any of that. We have the playhead right here. So what we're going to do is highlight, press B, excuse me. That is the ripple edit tool. And then what we're going to do is bring it to the playhead. It's going to clip in place and then let it go. So it literally did what would take you 2 extra steps to do immediately. And if you're editing a lot of footage, this is going to save you a lot of time, hours on end. All right, so we're going to keep on going. Let's see how that sounds like.
I'm videographer and editor. I got a few tasks to knock out. Some file management, a little editing.
And
I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio.
Boom. I think I say that again, but let's start with these two. All right, so we're going to end it right here.
I'm videographer and editor. I got a few tasks to knock out.
All right, so before I look down in the camera. All right, I didn't do that, so I got to keep going. As you can tell, I'm trying to read a prompt, but it's all good.
Some file management.
Boom. So we're going to start right there. I'm going to do the same thing again. Highlight, press B, and then bring it right there. So now if you're looking at this, see? These clips right here are what we are cutting and putting together. Boom. So let's do it again.
Some file management for an editor. I got a few tasks to knock out, some file management, a little editing.
So we could even cut that second into right there. So we're gonna
file
do
management.
We're gonna cut that, and even though it's really, really close, that's why it's really good to zoom in so you could really go by the wave forms of the audio, and that'll help you distinguish what's silent and where it's gonna come in, or where the person's about to pronounce the word. So we're gonna go right here. Boom. Let's start it just like, I like probably like a frame right before it's about to say something. Highlight it, press B, and then drag it in. Easy. Press V again.
A little editing.
All right, cool. So you see all that space right here? And then it starts.
And I'll
see that little me opening my mouth. So we're gonna do.
And I'll also.
Right. So. And I'll also. Wait. So see, look, we forgot to cut right before on this part right here. So let's do that. Let's cut it where it ends.
A little editing.
Boom. Stop right there. Boom. And then we're going to bring it in.
And I'll also.
Cool. And now we're going to highlight the steps. And boom. Go back and let's see how it sounds like.
A little editing. And I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio.
Nice. We're going to zoom in again and then see audio. So see what I'm doing right here? Like I keep looking down right before I'm going to even finish pronouncing the words. I got to stop doing that. Because look. I didn't even say O, finish saying O, and I'm looking down. So that kind of stinks for the cut. If somebody else was doing that, I'd be like, all right, let's do it again because you're looking down. Because I know that if I bring it in post, when I'm going to edit it, it's not going to look good. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. Okay, we cut it right there. Silence.
And I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio in Premiere Pro.
Cool. So see, like I did a retake, and it's gonna be.
And I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio in Premiere Pro.
Cool. So we cut from right there. So that's the last one we did, right? And we already listened that this is a retake. So we're gonna start it on right before this guy, and then.
Audio, and I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio in Premiere Pro.
So see that one I did good because I stopped. I didn't look down. So that's perfect. That's what we want. No looking down. Cool. Now look at that little section that we did. And let me actually cut it right here. I believe that this is
time editor videographer.
Okay.
In today's vlog, I'm showing you a regular day.
Okay, so yeah, we'll start it from. This is basically going to be the kind of the pre showing you exactly what I'm going to talk about. Let's look back at this space right here.
Day working from home as a full-time videographer and editor. I got a few tasks to knock out.
Okay, so here we go.
In today's vlog.
So let's start with highlighting. So now we put the playhead exactly where we want to cut it, right? Well, where we want to start the audio. So we're going to highlight, ripple edit, and it's not going to let me do it because I already have a bunch of stuff in front of it. So this is what I'm going to do actually. I'm actually going to cut this, bring it away from this because there's nothing there anyway. Let's do this just for the sake of us doing this cut right here, right? So I'm going to, and this is actually perfect because I can show you this one. If you press A on your keyboard, right? track select forward tool. So it's going to select everything forward. And you got to be careful using this because if you're working with a bunch of different tracks and you just want to move a certain amount, you're going to have to, shift press a bunch of different ones. And you just got to make sure you're keeping track of everything that you're doing on the timeline. All right, cool. So we're going to bring this guy back a little closer, all the way back. Cool. And this is where we're at. I'm going to deselect everything and let's continue.
In today's vlog,
so there's a little bit of space. I'm going to start from right there. Highlight that right here. Actually, I don't need to do all of that. I guess we could do this guy. It's not going to let me do it because it's in the beginning. It's all good. Let me actually do the whole thing just because. And I just have the creative LUTs in here. And that's why it didn't let me do it because I didn't select everything. Just make sure you're doing that. You see how like I tried to do it, but it didn't let me because there was still some tracks up top or some clips on top of the track that weren't selected. So it's not going to let me bring it forward. So you have to make sure you click everything. It's like, hey man, how do you know how to make sure you do this and do all that? It's because I've messed up a lot of footage. Trust me. Believe me. All right, cool. So we didn't do all that. It's not all the way in the beginning. And see about that. So
in today's vlog, I'm showing you a regular day working from home as a full.
So I don't like that pause right there. So what we're going to do is day, cut it right there. And what we're going to do is right before the, we're just going to, excuse me, might as well highlight all that. Press B, ripple edit, and there we go.
Regular day working from home as a full-time videographer and editor. I got a few tasks to knock out, some file management, a little editing, and I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio. In Premiere Pro.
You see right there? Now we got two of the same ones. Like, wait a minute. You didn't catch that before. I did not.
Editing, and I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio. In Premiere Pro.
There we go. So now, what do I do here? I could cut the whole thing, even the LUTs up top. I mean, you don't have to have those while you're cleaning this up. I usually don't, but I just did it for the sake of showing you guys something a little bit colorful, right? But what we are going to do is show you what I would do in this instance. So in this instance, I would highlight the ones that we already did, which is this guy right here. Let me just make sure.
And I'll also show you.
Yeah, so it's the first one I did. I'm going to delete this. Remember, select forward tool. And look, it's going to select even the LUT tracks, the adjustment layers that I have on top. So what I'm going to do is shift click. So that way those are deselected. And then I'm going to bring everything, because if I zoom out, everything is highlighted except that. Even this part right here, which I'm actually going to shift click these as well. You don't need that. All right, let's zoom in again. And it's always going to zoom in the playhead exactly where it is. And bring that forward. Awesome. So let's go ahead and see what that one is.
Management, a little editing, and I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio in Premiere Pro.
Jeez, I scratched that all the way up. Let's see if there's.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
I did
Let's get into it.
Look like a tiger.
Let's get into
cat, really.
Let's get into it.
I like that one. That would put more oomph into it. All right, so let's highlight B, ripple edit. Oops, press the wrong one. And bring it in. Hey, let's go. Okay, cool. So let's see.
In Premiere Pro. Let's get into it.
Boom. All right, so cutting that up. Mostly jump cuts. These are definitely jump cuts. You could always, we get into the J cut or the L cuts and all that stuff, but for the sake of not keeping you guys here way too long, we're going to do this right here. Okay, so let's continue. And let's Let me see. Let's get into it. Let's cut it right after. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
I should hold it down. Because I usually just cut it like right there. So that way I can kind of like transition a little bit. I don't know. I just always did that. I don't even know if I'm going to use that, but I'm actually cut this too. Just for the sake of right now. Select everything and then just move it that way. And we're going to work with this little section right here. Cool. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Now, we cut everything, right? You got the jump cuts ready to go. Remember, we're not going to do any effects or anything to the actual video right now. We're just working on the voiceover. So we cut up all the spaces. We cut up any ums, any retakes, any silence. And this is going to go specifically for YouTube. So, you know, you always want to cut out all that, trim the fat, as they say. And if you're doing for spec work for a client, you also, and most of the time, because they're not trained professionals, they're not actors, and you're trying to interview these people for, you know, whatever voiceover, they will almost always mess up or repeat their words, or just, you're always going to have that thing that you're going to have to clean up. So this is what you want it to look like, everything nice and cleaned up. So yeah, the best practices. And now I'm going to show you this last step that I do. So what I like to do with this audio, and again, it's almost to that constant gain. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to highlight everything, and then I'm going to Shift Command D. Boom. It'll give you this guy right here. Now, this is just like the default. Oh, and what I just did is just a shortcut for the constant power. And, you know, if you have your own shortcuts or make your own thing, you could go ahead and do that. But this is mine. And then this is the last thing that we're going to do. So I'm going to bring this guy. Now I'm going by the waveform. And again, if you can't see it, you could always really zoom in. You can't zoom in more than that. And you see right there, you see that little line, that little hill. That's basically, you know, starting low, volume's going to gradually increase, give it constant power. It's really good for the edges. It's really good for, even if you're using the same audio and not mixing with somebody else. Once you make those cuts, you know, depending on how high you went, how low you went, there's always going to be some kind of discrepancy. So what you want is to make that as less obvious as possible. And this is one way that I like to do it. There's bunch of different ways, but I'm showing you guys what I do because this is my life. So let's start.
In today's vlog,
let's see what it sounds like. I haven't fixed any of the other ones, so let's just see what it sounds like.
Regular day working from home as a full-time videographer and editor. I got a few tasks to knock out, some file management, a little editing, and I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio in Premiere Pro. Let's get into it.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but see, it kind of bleeds into the waveforms of the previous or the track afterwards. And sometimes what'll happen is that let's say for example, it's playing here. Sometimes it's more obvious than others, but it'll take the sound from the clip that's coming up and put it right before that clip even begins. So it'll kind of mesh into to the previous clip sound with the one that's coming, if that makes sense. So what I like to do is, you know, you always want to clean it up. You don't want to just, you make these, you put everything there, but you want it to make it nice. So again, we're going to bring it close and we're going to make sure that our mouse, see right there, the click, it's going to turn into like a red bracket with a rectangle with a line going diagonally. That's the constant power effect, right? That's how you know you got it. So, because if you don't, then you're just going to click on the track outside. But if you, let's do it again, right on the edge, right there. Now it's highlighted, right? The effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it in. Boom. And I'm going to do it right there. And it's going to be, and it's almost like right at the edge of where the previous clip ends and then the one that's coming begins, right? So it's
regular day working from home as a full-time videographer.
Right there. So I'm going to do the same with the other one.
An editor. I got a few tasks to
all right, let's do it again.
Knock out, some file management.
Clean that up. Clean the previous one since it's right there. The cut wasn't too long. Let's bring that guy in. And then, you know, this isn't the end of the video, but if you're going to end the audio, you're going to want to make sure that that line kind of goes in with it and you don't cut it to before, right? Let's end it right there. All right, now let's listen to the whole thing. This is the last thing we're doing.
In today's vlog, I'm showing you a regular day working from home as a full-time videographer and editor. I got a few tasks to knock out, some file management, a little editing, and I'll also show you a quick way to clean up your audio in Premiere Pro. Let's get into it.
Ooh, that could kind of look kind of dope at the end. All right, dope. So, oh, look at that. Let me watch it again.
Pro. Let's get into it.
That's what Bob Ross would call a happy accident. All right, so that's basically it. I showed you guys how to take audio right out of the camera into the program, laid out how to jump cut, take out all the extra spaces, the oohs, the ahs. I didn't do too many on this one, but it's mostly the silent spaces, cut out all the fluff, and take out all the outtakes that weren't working and put all the ones that are working, and then put them all together so they sound evenly. All right, there you have it. I appreciate you guys for being here, and stay tuned for next week's, and the lives are going to start Monday to Friday, and I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned. And